School Board for May 27th, 2026. Do we have any agenda adjustments?
The only agenda adjustment is on, once we get to policy.
If it's red, is it on or off?
Mine was, I was on.
Should be green.
It should be, well, it's red.
I think that one's okay.
So
to be
there are
red.
two,
Is
there's a
that
couple
okay?
different
Yes,
styles.
Yes,
what I'm
the
asking.
red's
It's
okay.
a different,
Okay, I
yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I didn't know if the red meant off.
Well, we can.
You're always on. No, but when we get to the policy memo, we are actually going to table JICK, so we can talk about that more once we get to
Okay,
the
we don't
memo.
need to vote
No.
on that. Okay. And then the consent agenda, do you want to talk us through that?
Did
or
we
do we-
approve that one last time?
So
Well,
we
we
just
just-
approve it as one,
Okay.
it's one consent agenda. So we have 3 nominations and we have a resignation.
All right. Do I need any discussion?
There's no discussion,
Okay,
but if we
fabulous.
have so we're fully staffed with our collective bargaining agreement professional staff positions with this.
Yeah,
I saw
that's
that.
great.
I saw the paraeducators were down to like only half a para at RMMS, and it seemed like those numbers were filling up, which is great, right?
Yeah? Is that true?
It's exciting.
It's just an interview.
Yeah,
It's in the right direction.
We're moving in the right
That's
direction.
amazing. All right.
Can you?
Um,
Can you speak to the? Could you just speak to the 4th grade class incoming, since we lost one teacher and there were 4? Is there? I didn't know if there was a replacement or.
So there was a reduction. There was a planned reduction anyway
Okay.
because the rising 4th grade class is a small group. I forget. I think it's like 62.
I can speak a little bit to it. So the rising 4th grade will be like 61 students, kind of what Dina shared. And with the policy that we have, IID, it's 20 in the class you could have. So basically, there could be 3 sections. And then when you go to CSTA, it's still 20. So if you do 20 divided by 60, you're right around 3.08 sections. So
Awesome.
Well, if I remember correctly, someone was moving down to RMMS, right? Anyway, because their 2nd grade was moving up and needed an additional section.
We are
but
gonna
that was
have-
not-
shift.
That was a shift.
there's
okay.
a shift.
In 4th
But
grade, we can have
when we-
23 in a class.
Yep, we could.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I was just going off the policy, which says 20. I'm sorry, 23. You're right. 23 do that, but 20 for 3rd grade. But I can speak to that at the principal's report.
Yeah, I just because I had thought somehow we were shifting one to RMMS anyway, and then what? No, okay. So yeah, Dan, if you could.
I'm happy to talk about it. Sure.
So some of what you're referring to is some of the cuts that we had to make.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that was going to happen.
Yep.
Got it.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Well, do you need a second?
Oh, yeah, second. Any second.
I'll
Just kidding.
second.
Actually, I'm moving us
Yeah,
along.
thank you.
All in favor? Thank you. All right, so approval of minutes. This is for the Brookline School Board for April 22nd. The following amendments were offered. Page 5, line 31, correct the spelling of that. Page 16, line 7, correct the spelling of spoke. Page 18, line 39, insert is following feeling. May I get a motion to accept the minutes as amended? Second? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, awesome.
I'm abstaining.
Or abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
Excellent. Let's see. From the Brookline School Board non-public, April 22nd. The following amendments were offered. Page 1, line 11, correct attendance by showing Vice Chair Perry as absent. May I get a motion to accept as presented?
Items one.
So moved.
A second? All in favor?
Hooray.
All in favor?
We'll swap it up.
Yes.
Thank you. Abstained? We'll just do it that way since I know. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Public hearing?
We can't. It's not 6:15.
We
So
can't,
let's
it's
move on
not
to the
6:15.
principal's report.
Just kidding. All right. Trustee principals?
All right, good evening, everybody. So for enrollment, we pretty much stay right where we've been. We have 310 students in RMS, 254 in CSDA for a total of 564 in Brookline. For next year, for classes, we've got 5 kindergarten, which is currently what we have as well. 1st grade is going to have 5 sections, which is what it has currently right now. 2nd grade is going to have
first grade have 5 this year?
First
So
grade had 5.
Did enrollment drop
Um,
after you dropped a section?
He said 5.
No, I thought he said
First
4.
grade currently has 5.
Right.
Next year we'll have 5. Next year, second grade,
Right.
we'll have 4 sections.
Right, which, so you're moving from 5 sections in first grade to
Yes,
4?
to 4,
Okay.
yeah. And some of that enrollment is dropping because we know some move-outs. It also, if I was to do 5 sections of second grade and 4 sections of third grade, the third grade sections would be a lot larger.
Okay.
And if I go to 4 sections of second grade and 5 third grade, they're about the same. They might be off by 1 student per class.
But we're not popping over the.
Oh, everything's within the, so on this principal's report, there's the enrollment section where it says divisor according to policy IIB. Kindergarten, the recommended language is that we stay right around 17 for kindergarten and first grade. Once you hit second grade, it
Oh, I see.
increases to 20. Third grade is 20, then to what Mrs. Berkshire was saying earlier. Fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade all go to 23, which is still well below the state guidelines as well. So.
What is that line, the Ed 306 12 class size above that?
So
line?
that's what I was saying. The state recommended sizes are 25, 30 for
30,
third
okay.
grade, 30. So we're,
You're just showing how much lower we are, so we can give more attention and
to the
individualized
small class
attention
sizes.
to
And
our
that was a policy
kids.
years
Okay.
ago that the board approved to have smaller class sizes.
I like
So,
it.
Are you anticipating, I mean, I know we know a few that are moving out. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball, so we're not sure like what'll happen over the summer, but do we have kind of a plan in place if we need to adjust for like based on summer enrollments or new students coming in maybe to like second or some of these ones where it's not quite at that point, but it is a little bit closer? Like, do you kind of just have a plan in
so
mind?
yeah, no, it's a great question. So we track all of those incoming registrations. Right now, we don't have a lot
Okay.
from what we know of. We've got a good number of kindergarten. It's going to be right around 70, which is a good number. But I have shared with Superintendent Berkshire too. Like, obviously, we know there's a lot of building going on in the town too. So we're gonna have to keep tabs on
Okay.
the developments in town. But I feel like we've got a good class size structure for next year. So we're reasonable.
I think it's also important to note that these are class size recommendations. We want to be under them. But the unfortunate part about adding a section in August and redistributing all the students is a lot of time and energy and thought is put into placement. And a lot of time and energy and thought is put into training of our teachers. So when we bring someone on board at the last minute, they don't have the benefit of all that training. So sometimes it's better to have one student over our class size recommendation
Okay.
with a fully trained staff.
Just out of curiosity, because it hasn't happened while I've been on the board, but if that does happen, is that something that has to, that, like, you just let us know, like, how does that work if we do have to have a student over, like, the maximum size of the policy?
So I make the decision,
Yeah.
and then I inform the board as soon as I know.
Perfect, okay.
Last year in Hollis, we had to add a kindergarten section in the middle of the summer, and I notified the board.
Perfect. I just didn't know if there was a policy to deal with it if it went over the policy, but it sounds like there is.
And then to answer the question about second and third grade, next year's class sizes, what we suspect are third grade will be at 16 in the class,
Okay.
second grade at 17.
Okay,
So-
perfect. So there's room
Yeah,
for
plenty of room.
flexibility.
Mhm, yep.
And are the teachers happy at these class sizes? I mean, do they feel like it's the right?
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think they all feel really well supported with the class size. I mean, those are ideal numbers, honestly.
Good.
Like kindergarten with class sizes of 15, that's a great number. If you're right around 20, that's a good number for second, third grade, even fourth.
Oh,
You know, I mean,
have
my-
23 at
My fourth grade
grades.
teacher, when I was fourth grade, I had 26 in a class. So, I mean, these are nice numbers, and I'm glad that we're well below the state average. And we were thankful to the school board years ago that, brought forth that recommended policy, because those are nice teaching sizes. But,
Okay, great.
yeah.
Great.
And then moving on to calendar events, as you know, April, May, and June get really busy. The students at RMS have finished SAS testing, and that New Hampshire SAS testing, that went really well. I want to thank all the teachers and the specialists who helped administer those tests, and also the students did a wonderful job coming in prepared. Sorry about that. And taking the test really seriously. I walked through all the classes, and they were all focused. They all had dividers. The teachers set up the environment really, really well. So kudos to the third graders and all the staff that took the test seriously, so that we can learn from it and see what we can do better as a school. Our first grade enjoyed the Eyes on Owls visit. You'll see a picture in the principal's report. We've done that for years, and it's to the point where we have teachers that want to come back that are retired, that want to come back and see the owls.
See that, that's fun.
They look at them as family members. And then, I forgot to mention, what was really cute is our whole school did a parade for the third graders before the New Hampshire SAS test, so that we could really cheer on the kids. And,
That's cool.
all the classes made little signs and
that's
cheered
great.
them on as they walked through the hall, so it was great.
I think you guys did a great job with educating too, because I know some of the feedback that I heard just as a parent was like, we gotta be quiet in the hallways. We want to make sure we're being mindful. So I want to say good job to the staff also for helping support and educating some of the other groups that aren't having to take it this year, but also are aware of like, hey, that's a big thing.
It was a good time for us to reinforce our way of the J. education. First grade just came back from the Stone Zoo field trip on the 21st. They had a wonderful trip, a beautiful day, and what I heard from the chaperones is that our school of students were the best behaved school there, because there was the whole state of New Hampshire and Mass were there that day, I guess. And what was really nice is we purchased Blue Jay t-shirts for all the staff and students, and all of our first graders went with the t-shirts on, which allowed us to identify them easily. And then third grade on Friday went to Strawberry Bank. We had a beautiful day there. The neat thing about Strawberry Bank is students got to kind of go back into the past and experience what it looked like to live in a Victorian house, or a house that was during the Revolutionary period or during the Civil War. So they got to experience that and see some demonstrations of a cooper, a weaver, and just got a chance to explore on their own Portsmouth, which was one of our first 4 towns and was the original capital of New Hampshire when it was a colony. So a lot of history there. And then right now our school is starting Ames web testing and CSD as well. It's a district-wide benchmarking assessment that we take. And coming up we have preschoolers doing Seacoast Science program. We have Leaping Lizards coming this week with second grade. So that's a program coming to our school. And then the 4th, our third grade is going to visit CSDA and walk through some classrooms so they can get acquainted with the school there, and they'll have a chance to meet Mr. Miller and some of the 4th grade teachers. So we're thankful to CSDA for opening their doors to our third grade. And then preschool ends on the 4th. We have grade K going to Friendly Farm again, which is a fun field trip. Then we have field day on the 12th, and then last day of school. So a lot of fun stuff. And then this week and last week we did Great Gatherings, and that's a PTO fundraiser event, and there's some really wonderful offerings. I want to thank all the teachers for putting on events. I want to say we had over 20 different events that teachers have put on. So there's a few pictures. There's floor hockey there. We have a picture of Nurse Tina. She and her husband created a large-scale model of operation. The nose even buzzes.
Okay, so Connor did this,
And
and
it
he
was awesome.
loved
Yeah,
it.
I just want to go play in the nurse's office.
He
It's
came
so
home
cool.
and talked about it for like an
Yeah,
hour.
so that's-
He loved it.
We're going to keep that on display,
That's
and
fun.
it's great. And then we had a wonderful staff appreciation week. I want to thank the PTO for supporting a few of those days of events, and the staff really felt appreciated. So, and also thank you to the school board for some of the notes and things that you guys did as well. So that does it for RMS. That's for Mr. Miller.
Yeah, piggyback on Dan with SAS testing and Ames Web assessments going on. I think those are going very well. Let's see. One of the things that I felt very privileged being a part of was the Memorial Day celebration. I thought that was really well planned, and I think it went really well. So thank everybody who helped make that something that was very, I think, heartfelt, and I think the kids really, I think it resonated with the kids afterwards too, which is really nice. We have our field day coming up, which we're very excited about, and we have the Brookline Girl Scout Troop 61033 for their bronze award built a Gaga Ball pit in the back area by where the hoops are at. And a few of the girls had come up to me, probably a few months ago, during the winter, and they wanted to build this, and said they wanted to do it through their Girl Scouts, and they wanted to form a committee We formed the Gaga Ball Committee, and we talked about it, and they made this whole vision come true. And it's big. It comes up to probably, almost up to my shoulders. It's a really big Gaga Ball pit. But I mean, we built it 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago Saturday, or a week ago Saturday. And there's a consistent 25 kids that use it every day. So it's a pretty amazing thing. And as I was standing out today, looking at our playground area, it's really coming to a really nice hum where you have a certain area where kids are playing football and wiffle ball, and then you have up top the playground equipment and swings, and then you have kids playing basketball in this area. You have the Gaga Ball pit here, and you have kids playing wall ball and foursquare over here. And it really does, it's a very active space, but a very positively active space where everybody seems to have a space to do things. And that's when I think the playground can be the best help to the classroom, is having those positive relationships going. So it's really nice. And the Gaga Ball pit was a huge addition to that, which was really good. Staff appreciation went really wonderful. Again, thank you to everyone for all their gifts. Teachers were super happy that week, and the PTO did a great job as well. Yeah, I think that's it.
Jess, what's the innovation station?
Oh, the innovation stations. Thank you. Knew I was forgetting some. Great gatherings as well. Like Dan said, great gatherings went very well at our school too. They're finishing some up. The last few. We have innovation stations where grades 4 and 5 are, and in fact, big thanks to Melissa Davis for spearheading this. She did it before, I forget what it was called last year, but it's a really neat, or maybe it wasn't last year, maybe it was a few years ago, but teachers can kind of go bring their talents and the things that they love to do to the kids, and so we're doing that tomorrow, and it goes for about an hour and a half or so. So teachers are doing different arts and crafts with kids in 4th and 5th grade. It kind of offsets, 6th grade has a lot of cool stuff going on, so it kind of offsets that time of year a little bit with them as well. But again, there's arts and crafts stuff, there's different building different things, stuff like that. I'll be having kids outside will be learning how to play backyard football, which there is a specific way to play backyard football. And so I'll be doing that with them. But it's a really neat thing, and again, it's highly organized through Melissa Davis and the PTO, and teachers love it. Kids are really looking forward to it, and we have good weather for it. So,
Okay. Thank you so much.
I had no idea what Gaga Ball was. I grew up on the West Coast, so I learned today. I just want to tell everyone that.
New thing in this
Yeah.
generation.
It's new.
Yeah.
Like,
I have no idea. What
It's
this is.
called
10 years,
dodge-
so,
it's
Yeah,
dodgeball.
like it was not
Oh, it's dodgeball. Okay, well, someone had just said it was
It's
dodgeball.
in a confined space
Yeah.
that
Okay, dodgeball, I do
it
know.
gets very intense.
That I have heard, yes.
It has to be highly regulated.
Yes.
Highly regulated.
That was always my,
yeah.
not my duty of choice when I worked.
Right, so Dan, do you want to add a Gaga pit here? No, he's like all set. He's all
We're
set.
learning the rules at like PE class, but I'm not sure if we're.
We're ready for that.
Out there yet. Yeah.
Fair enough.
They don't
We'll
understand.
test it out at CSDA. And
There
then
you
we'll
go.
move it to middle school.
Definitely works well with the olders.
Go the
Yeah,
other
there
way.
you go. Yeah.
Valid. All right.
He's still in
All
the
right.
phase, don't throw a ball at me.
Yes.
Fair.
I just wanted to say thank you. If you look at all of these really great events that are going on for the kids and for staff and the trips and so many people that are making it happen, the PTO and great gatherings and staff and teachers. I know the end of the school year is really hard, and so just to have all of these wonderful things, I think is amazing. So thank you.
Yep. Anything else? All right. At this time, I would like a motion that our board recess until the conclusion of our public hearing on the retained fund balance. May I get a motion?
Also moved. Sorry. So moved.
Get a second?
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor? All right, so we are going to recess here at 6:21 p.m.
Okay. So as noted in the most recent revenue and expense report, the anticipated year-end fund balance is estimated to be $46,937. This figures subject to change as we approach the end of the fiscal year and finalize encumbrances and expenditures. You can go in either direction. In addition to the current year estimate, there's a retained fund balance of $185,192 from fiscal year 2025. as previously voted on by the board. I believe that was your August or September meeting. Recommended is the use of these funds to address potential budgetary shortfalls, deferred maintenance projects, and other high-priority items that were removed from the FY27 budget in order to achieve the default budget. So requested is an approval to expend up to $280,000 from the combined FY26 fund balance and FY25 retained fund balance for the delayed. So we have any potential budgetary shortfalls. We have RMMS Milford Street roof and trim repair, $100,000. The RMMS parking lot repairs and paving and seal coating for $150,000. The privacy curtain for the nurse's office for $2,500. And the lowest priority would be the interactive flat panels, 4 at RMS, 3 at CSDA for a total of $27,300. Do you want to open up for public comment?
Yep. So at this time, I'd like to open up for public comment. It is 6:23. If we have anybody who is here in testimony in favor of the use of the retained fund balance, I invite you forward.
We're all looking at you.
No pressure, but.
No pressure. If there's anybody here in testimony in opposition, I invite you to join us. Do I need to really call this twice?
Yep.
All right, so legally, I will do another call for testimony in favor. And for those of you watching at home, we have one person with us who I think is just hanging out, not necessarily for this section, not to call you out. And is there anybody in testimony in opposition? Am I allowed to close it?
You are.
That's fast. So at this time, I will close the public hearing at 6:24 p.m. That might be the fastest public hearing ever. All right. Moving along. At this point, I will now open the floor to public input. So the intent of this public comment period is for the board to receive input from the public. It is not a back and forth discussion. The board will consider the input provided during the deliberation portion of the agenda. So I'm going to go ahead and open public input here at 6:24. And if there's anybody who would like to join us, I invite you forward.
But we'll keep
All
it
right.
open for 30
I will
minutes.
keep it open for 30 minutes, and if anybody wishes to join us, we will make space for you as you get here. All right, moving on. So discussion, revenue and
Expense.
Revenue and expense.
All right, so we haven't changed too much since our last revenue expense report. Something to note up top on our expenses, if you could see the bulk of our shortfalls was in special education, mostly due to contracted paras and contracted school psychologists. We end up with an expense balance in the negative of $63,079. We potentially, that's why I said the wording for the retained fund balance, we potentially might use the retained fund balance to bring that top negative 63,000 to zero. Or we might come to you on June 10th with a public hearing to expend from the Special Education Trust. Because we do have about $285,000 in that trust specifically for special ed needs, and we might look to that. But we're going to have to bring that $63,000 to zero. Looking in the revenue, we have more revenue than anticipated, bringing our overall fund balance to $46,937, excluding that retained fund balance that we just discussed in the public hearing. So that would be an additional $185,192. So we're pretty stable right now, but like I said, it's that last month of closing POs, releasing encumbered funds, where things can shift quite a bit. And so by providing the option of utilizing some of these funds, and we use the term up to because, we don't know where we're going to fall. But by authorizing the expenditure with those specific targeted items that were removed from the budget, either in 26 or 27, we can still move forward if we end up with funds.
So
That's that.
do you have a sense of kind of when you're gonna know? I mean, obviously by June 10th you'll have a decision. But do
So
you have a sense
if
of-
I end up choosing to go the special ed trust route, first I would notify our assistant superintendent of student services prior to this meeting. That was a little shocker too, right then and there. But I would have to publicly notice it for 7 days. So I would have to make that decision and get it to the paper. I would have to get it in, I want to say by June 2nd.
Okay.
And so I'd have to make that decision very soon. Yeah.
Do you have, I know I personally probably, I'll just speak for myself, I would prefer that if we have funds, I would rather use the retained fund balance for some of the other things that we're not gonna, I would rather pull it from the special education trust fund if that's what the overage is for. I mean, I understand that we wanna kind of try and maintain a balance there. Do you have a sense of I'm not asking you to make a decision, but more, I guess, do you have a sense of why you wouldn't use the special education trust fund?
Because I really want the roof done. The paving really needs to happen. I'm
Right, so-
going to have to bring that 63,000 up to zero. I was hoping that 63,000 was going to be closer to zero on its own in a month, but now that hasn't shifted too much, I'm now concerned that that's going to force me to utilize my retained fund balance and
Right.
then limit my ability to complete the tasks that we've been trying to complete for years, and they've been cut over time.
Right, so I
year
guess,
after year.
so I think so what I'm saying though is that I would advocate for using the fund so that we don't have to pull it
Correct.
from the retained fund. And I guess I'm just wondering, is there anything that would, it sounds like that's kind of where you're headed without putting words in your mouth. Is there anything that would say, nope, I'd rather use the retained fund balance
If
instead?
our assistant superintendent of student services does not feel comfortable going in that direction for volatility that I am unaware of, then I would.
She's shaking her head no, so that's.
then I would, but a lot can happen between now and June
Right.
2nd. So, so this is the time when things change rapidly. So I'm just sharing all the what ifs just so that there are no surprises.
That's fair. Thank you.
So I think I would like, if we have an overage in special ed, that's what the trust is there for. And I'd like us to see that utilized because it's there specifically for special ed, to then allow us the ability to do these projects that they're not big when you look at them, right? But we keep kicking the can down the road, and I don't want them to become a bigger issue.
Agreed.
So I that would be my preference.
Yeah.
If you when you sit down and consider all things, there's a special ed overage, and our assistant superintendent of special ed is comfortable. The money's there for that. I would advocate that we use the money for that.
I mean, I think similar to what I mentioned in our governing board meeting last week or the week before, I think the more transparent we can be about where we're using it, I think that is gonna, for the community to see that is gonna be better. And so exactly as Allison's saying, because it's a special education fund, I, as a community member, could foresee being well, why wouldn't you use this? And kind of there being questions. So I would rather just be even transparent. Yes, it's a special education overage. We have the money. We feel comfortable using it. We don't foresee any. I mean, obviously, again, we don't have a crystal ball, but I think that might sit better with just the way things are economically right now. Just being clear that money is being spent on the things that it's been paid for.
Tracy or Lynn, do you have any thoughts? Just if I could gain a sense of where you're at, that would help me determine.
Can I jump in with one piece
Sure.
of information too? So yes, some of this overage does have to do with the contracted para educators we've had to hire, but there were also, over the summer, unforeseen and unbudgeted pieces that were big budget pieces that had to be taken care of as well. And that's truly what that trust is for, is those pieces that are truly unforeseen and unbudgeted because they didn't exist when we planned the budget 18 months ago. So just so the board is aware of that too, that this cost is because of that as well.
Yeah, I unfortunately won't be able to be here on June 10th, and but I am in agreement. If it is truly related to special education, then I would say dip into that.
Okay.
Agreed.
Excellent. That's all I need to hear.
Lauren, can I ask a clarifying question then? So are you saying that this overage would not be appropriate to pull it from the special
I don't
education?
think it would be.
It would be, okay, I just want to make sure.
There were special ed costs
Okay.
that came up in.
Oh, I see,
over
in the summer. Okay,
That
so,
were not
okay, I was
foreseen.
wait till Lauren
Yeah,
just.
no, I'm
Okay.
saying, I'm giving even more of a reason why
Support,
this would
okay.
truly be an appropriate place and time to use the special ed trust. Because that is really what that trust was made for, was even more so that unforeseen and unbudgeted piece.
Makes
So
sense.
that, it makes me extra comfortable.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else for revenue expense? Okay. Meal price adjustments.
Okay, so, sorry, I like to time us. All right, so you can see that we have a memo from both our business administrator, Lance Filmino, and our director of school nutrition, Amy Cassidy. As a result of having a positive fund balance at the end of FY25, the district is exempt from the requirement to increase school lunch prices this year. And since lunch prices were raised in the 24-25 school year, the director of school nutrition and the business administrator recommend utilizing this exemption and keeping lunch prices unchanged. Just as a side note, we participate in the school lunch program, so we can offer free and reduced lunch to families that qualify. As a result of that, it is highly regulated what we are required to do. We're required to end the year with at least a zero balance, like we can't carry negative, et cetera. So we go into the next paragraph. Breakfast prices have not increased since the 22-23 school year. During that time, food costs regulatory requirement, including lower sugar standards and domestic juice procurement, and staffing costs have all risen. For these reasons, we recommend increasing the price of breakfast from $1.75 to $2. That's the recommendation. It's really less of a recommendation and more of a requirement to stay in compliance with the requirements set forth by the school lunch program. Hollis and the co-op saw the exact same change, and they voted to approve the increased cost.
If we didn't approve the increased cost, what,
We'd be out of compliance.
and that means we could potentially
Well,
face
so
what?
part of that would come from the budget, and then the budget would have to supplement school lunch
The
program.
extra
More
money.
so, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And the reduced and free meals, those apply to breakfast as well, right?
Correct.
So, okay, so if this quarter raise was going to be because I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but again, it can
It
add.
adds up, yeah.
It would still be manageable for families that might need assistance, like the breakfast this would not
Correct.
necessarily
So,
impact
well,
them.
for free, it would
It would
remain
stay
free.
free,
For
yeah.
the reduced rate, so
It's
they'd
go
see a
slightly.
small increase, but
Okay.
a percentage of the increase.
Okay.
And, breakfast, as I shared with the other district, breakfast is more volatile because it becomes less of an everyday thing and more of a, today I need it, tomorrow I don't. And so it's easier to do all the predictions and budgetary pricing for lunch than it is for breakfast.
Okay, and just as a reminder, if a parent or a family felt that they needed, or their situation has changed, they can reach out to the admin to apply for reduced.
They don't
that's
even have
on
to
the
do that.
website?
The free and
Okay.
reduced lunch application, they can apply at any time.
Okay.
You do have to apply annually, but they can apply multiple times for reconsideration. It's available. It's very much an anonymous process.
So on the website, they can just go look it
Yeah,
up?
absolutely.
Okay,
There's a whole
perfect.
food service section. And not only is that beneficial for families, because it supports families, but that also supports the district in other ways. As our free and reduced lunch population goes up, our eligibility for grants also goes up. We historically have a very low free and reduced percentage, therefore we become ineligible for most federal and state grants.
Questions? Can I ask a slightly detoured question, but related to
Maybe.
meals? At one point, I know we talked about the credit card fees or the re-up, the fund fees to fund.
Yeah, school bucks.
Have we researched or can we look at it just gets expensive to fund the account?
It's like an extra.
And I know at one point we were maybe looking into something with it. Can we maybe revisit that at some point?
We're
and
constantly
see-
looking because
it's awful.
As your children get older, you see that comes up with athletics, that comes up with participation in like off-site field trips that are overnight. Let's say it comes up with paying for AP exams. So we're constantly
Right.
looking at ways to reduce that fee, to absorb that fee a little bit more.
Okay.
But
can
once
always
again,
bring a
with
check,
food,
right?
you can always turn in a check, and that yes.
Yeah, I think you can.
I did not know that.
I think you can put it in their folder, right? And the teacher
Put it in their
can- or
folder. You
send it
could
to the office.
send it directly
Good to know.
to our office.
I did
My
not know
dream
that.
is to just fund it at the max, so I pay the few, and I know that's not possible for everybody, I
Yeah,
understand.
that's
but
what I was gonna
what
say. Like, I did it once. My husband was like, "What are you doing?" I was like,
Feeding the world.
I'm like trying not to pay a fee multiple times, but I also recognize it's not
Not feasible
feasible,
for a
and
lot
so
of
that's
people.
Yeah.
that's
It
really good to
also-
know though about
It
bringing
also
a check.
allows your
Yeah.
child
Right.
to buy cookies for all their friends.
Yes, I was gonna
And
say.
Yes,
that
it
is what my
does.
child does.
Or my favorite is I bought
it
hot
does.
lunch today and I didn't like
Middle
it.
school, they just,
Yeah.
they have a ball with it.
I also liked I
Yeah.
bought hot lunch. I took one bite and I didn't like it, so then I bought cold lunch.
Yeah, we
Great.
don't share
Okay.
food at school.
Yeah, Never.
lunches in one
Middle
day.
school, you got a little more freedom.
Anyway, for everybody's listening, we don't advocate junk food. Okay. Thank you for that little detour question.
Sure.
It's just talking about lunch prices and then knowing it kind of ties together.
No, but
So,
again, I think it's important
Appreciate
because
it.
if we're putting it out there that this is the information where families can find if they do need assistance, them knowing that, because that would be a real shock to the system, right? So I assume I'm making an assumption, so correct me if I'm wrong, but if they are applying for help or reduce that fee, would that fee still be applied to them? Like if they had to put
For reduced, I believe the fee
the
is
fee
still
is still
there.
there.
Fee is still there.
The free lunch you would not.
Right, because it's
Okay.
just.
But You're right, but if the fee is prohibited, I think it's good for us to put out, options. You can
check.
send in a check, you can.
Noted for next year?
Yeah, ways to kind of, because it's important for us to just have that information out for people to be aware.
it's
So
important.
I think it's a good question.
Because you get hit too with like both kids.
Yeah.
You do. You have 2 kids, you have 2 accounts, you get 2 fees.
Only child.
It's not awesome.
You could also put them on one child's account and ask that it's moved.
Oh.
Oh, really?
That is point of
Insider.
information.
Really? Insider tip.
And you don't get a
So,
fee charge for it?
so if you have multiple children, fund one child's account, spread it amongst
That's an
the
insider tip
others,
from a mother of 4.
or bring a check. So, okay, so there's multiple ways that we can suggest to help with that. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
And it sounds like if you have any additional questions, Superintendent Bergstaff is here with all the life hacks, or any of the principals can probably.
Been down that road.
She's
Cool.
got all the tricks. All right.
Awesome. All right, anything else about the meal price adjustments? Nope. Okay. Suicide prevention.
Do you know what to press?
Do we need, wait, we don't need to vote on that now, right? We're voting on
No,
it.
no, this is just
I don't
discussion.
know what to press to make your screen work. All right, good evening, everybody. So the presentation is in your board packet as well as the actual plan itself. This is our suicide prevention and response plan. So this is a presentation that's given to the board every 2 years. So those of you who are on the board in 2024, you've heard something very similar. And we are reviewing it now for 2026 at this board meeting. We review this procedure more often as an internal staff. So we review it at least yearly, but we'll come together as a team as needed to review as well. All right, the framework of our suicide prevention and response plan comes from RSA 193J. This went into effect in July 2020. It's important to note, though, that even without this RSA, our students' social, emotional needs and well-being are always at the forefront of what we do. In order to create this plan, we use the 4 elements that our practices need to address per the RSA. You'll see them here: annual training, education for students, crisis prevention resources, and partnerships with community organizations. Educating staff begins at the start of each new academic year. The school counselor reviews the building safety protocol with staff. The staff discuss when and how to follow this protocol, under which conditions the protocol needs to be followed. The chart for our protocol is in Appendix A of the plan itself. In alignment with RSA 193J, staff are annually trained through the Vector Training K-12 edition, which meets the requirements of the RSA. We do keep kind of our eyes out and feelers out for other trainings also. We've used NAMI in the past, and that could be something that we revisit, but there are other ones that potentially could be coming up that we'll take into consideration. We all must be aware of potential warning signs, so the safety protocol chart that's in Appendix A is included in every classroom for teachers to easily access in the moment. A key component to student well-being is positive relationships and engagement. Adults in the building work with students to foster positive relationships and build on student strengths, both in and out of the classroom. Both schools utilize the multi-tiered system of supports process to allow time for staff to discuss student concerns, and these can be concerns just in any realm for us to kind of stay ahead and make sure that we are looking out for the students' well-being, both academically and social-emotionally. This considers input from a variety of stakeholders: classroom teachers, school counselors, special educators, service providers, nurses, and administration. So having this practice supports a more holistic view of the student and their needs. School counselors proactively build rapport, trust, and consistent connection with students throughout the year. There's an emphasis on creating a safe, supportive environment where students feel comfortable seeking help. So the core counseling curriculum includes friendship skills, building healthy peer relationships and social connections, mindfulness, developing awareness of emotions and self-regulation strategies, anger management, recognizing feelings and exploring different coping tools, problem solving, step-by-step approaches to handle challenges and adversity, and challenging negative thoughts, promoting positive self-talk and resilience. So these skills support early identification of potential distress and to strengthen protective factors for student well-being. What we know from suicide prevention research is that connection matters. When students feel they belong, that they are recognized, and that they have trusted relationships within school, they are more likely to seek help and less likely to feel isolated. So both RMMS and CSDA have intentionally created structures and traditions that foster belonging and engagement. I'm truly so proud of the work that they've done, even over the past like three or 4 years to build this. And I'm only gonna give a snapshot of what they're doing. You guys hear this, and they can speak more to it, but they range, these different structures range from daily classroom practices like morning meetings and talking circles to school-wide assemblies, leadership opportunities, recognition systems, and restorative practices. At RMMS, one example is the Blue Jay recognition system, where students are acknowledged daily for demonstrating their kindness, responsibility, respect, leadership, and perseverance. This consistent recognition helps students feel seen and valued and connected to their school. At CSDA, the Wolfpack Mural Project gives every classroom the opportunity to create murals that represent the school's core values of kindness, respect, responsibility, and learning. These student-created murals, These student-created murals build ownership, pride, and a sense of belonging throughout the school. And it's really important to note that these initiatives are proactive rather than reactive. These are not programs that respond to crisis, they help prevent crisis by creating safe, supportive environments where the students feel valued and respected. This next portion of the presentation will tap into the plan itself. So this slide discusses a multi-tiered system of support framework where you look at tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 prevention and intervention within the school. So tier 1, you're looking at prevention from classroom and building culture, welcoming new students, orientation, open house activities. Tier 2, for students that are identified through the multi-tiered system of support process, can have counselor check-ins, some lunch groups, social groups. This is not inclusive. And tier 3, there may be special programming through Section 504 or IEP supports or school psychologist services. On our school websites, both RMMS and CSDA, you will see our resources under the school counseling office. So if you go to the website, click on resources and counseling office, and then you will see both school counselors' information and contact information, and then our Brookline suicide prevention plan and our community resources linked to the safety prevention resources. This is the process itself. So should a student express an intent to harm themselves or others, the safety protocol is followed. This slide provides an overview of the process, which is outlined in greater detail in the Suicide and Harm Prevention Plan and the corresponding forms. The forms that are used to be filled out during the protocol are in Appendix B of the plan. It is important that the person reporting the intent does so in real time. For example, if a comment is said in class, a teacher is then instructed to call down to the school counselor or administrator. They do not write a note, do not write an email, they call down immediately. The student is never left alone from the moment the intent is expressed. The school counselor and the administrator will meet with the student to hear what the student is feeling. Parents are called and they come in to meet with the school counselor and the administrator, who explain that the student needs to be seen by a licensed mental health practitioner before returning back to school. Resources and phone numbers are provided to the family, or if the family currently works with an outside therapist, that therapist can also be used as the practitioner. Upon the practitioner's clearance, the student returns to school and a re-entry meeting is scheduled. This is just a chart explaining what the off-site and some on-site resources could be. So the mobile crisis team that has been used through Greater Nashua Mental Health, and that's been used with success. The mobile crisis team can come to the school or they can go to the home. So we have had parents utilize this as a resource as well. Post-intervention is the re-entry meeting. The school counselor, administrator, parents, and the student meet to discuss any practitioner recommendations and any needs the student may have returning to school. So they'll discuss the transition back and any necessary supports or check-ins that would need to be available to bridge that support. A release may be signed, if applicable, for the school counselor or other school staff to speak with any outside providers in order to continue that support. Regular check-ins with the school counselor are often part of the reentry plan. And depending on the severity of a need, a referral may be made to Section 504 or special education. Or if a student already has a plan in place, it would be appropriate for the appropriate team to meet to discuss any necessary changes to the plan. We want every student to feel safe, supported, and known by the adults around them. This work starts with the relationships our school counselors and all staff build with our students every day, and the proactive skills we teach students to help them navigate their challenges. At the same time, we want to be clear we take every concern seriously. When something is brought to our attention, we follow our established protocols to respond quickly and involve families and make sure the students get the support that they need. This is truly a collaborative effort. Our staff, our families, and our community, mental health partners, all working together to support the children in Brookline. Most importantly, we want you to know that we follow up, we stay connected, we continue supporting students as they transition back to the school environment. This is ongoing work, and we continuously remain committed to strengthening how we support the safety and well-being of our community. And that is the end. I will take any questions if you have any.
It's very thorough.
It's a weighty topic, it's a lot, so, you know, it's a lot to process, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them, or afterwards, it's fine.
Yeah, I have a question. This is such a great, I think, plan for during school and in school hours. I wonder if we have anything if students are talking to each other, you know, outside of school, or especially with the rise of social media.
Yep.
You know, or texting or things like that, like, if other students want to report something, or, you
Yep.
know, any of that.
Yeah, so that's discussed with our school counselor in some of these pieces, that see something, say something, hear something, you know, and come to an adult. We have had that happen, when something happens off school grounds or on social media, it's gotten brought to our attention, we'll follow up in the same way.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Do they have a way to reach out, like, after hours? Like, are there resources, or is there a way that the kids at least have access if, like, you know, they're not comfortable, they don't have somebody at home, or whatever, you know, they just,
Yeah. Well,
they,
if they
see
come-
something and
we've had
you
them
want
come
them, if they want to
school,
immediately, like, is there any kind of a,
So there's resources, I
Education.
mean, it would be them having the resources, right?
Yeah.
But we do share the resources, and Gina's holding up the.
So, but what grade is
I think
required?
sixth grade, does sixth grade get this? It's
required by law to have on the back of the
On the
ID
back
card.
of the
Okay.
student ID cards, but I believe it starts in grade five or six, is it, do they have in the back of theirs?
not on the back of grade 5,
It
I've
might
seen
say
it.
grade six.
I will
If
just-
it's- If it's not grade 6, it's definitely 7 and up.
Yeah, I will
And
just
there's
note
that
also
phone
that
number.
these are very accessible online, so like any time, and you can also call any hospital, you can call
Yes.
any counseling center, you can call any primary care physicians, doctors' office, and they will give you the numbers. You
Correct,
can
yeah.
text, so like, I don't know that the school per se can provide, like in the states at least that I'm licensed in, we would not ask the school to provide that outside of what the school does, but what we would do is say, hey, if you're ever in trouble, it's always our policy to just like call 911, they will connect you to the right people. If you're really worried about something that's being said online, the text hotline is actually very helpful, so let me Google that number real quick, I think it's like, but that is a great.
Samaritan.
Yes, that is a great text because people will just literally text you. There's a whole song about it actually. The number is in the title of the song. Yeah, so the 988 suicide, like, and people will literally text you back right away. So that's what I would encourage people to reach out to. I can't speak for the school, but I would just say I don't see how the school itself could enforce that.
Well, no, I was
It's not
asking,
enforcing,
it
but
wasn't
like,
that.
if a fifth grader hears something
Yes, okay.
at home at night, and they don't tell their parents that night, they may come to school the next day and share
Report
with the school
it.
counselor.
And I was
That
just
makes
wondering
sense.
if in all of the education we give them, if there's like, if they want to report it immediately right then and there, is there a mechanism that we share with them that is open to them to make them aware of it? That's more what I was asking. I
With this-
certainly
with this
wouldn't put that
age
on the
group,
school.
It's a little tricky.
Yeah.
You know, because they
fair.
don't always have the access to make a phone call, you know, to
Correct.
do those things either.
Correct.
So this age group's a little bit tricky, but at the
Yeah.
older grades, that is done.
That is done, okay.
But
As
I think also
was
if
pointed
a
out.
student comes in and reports something, I mean, everyone here is mandated reporter, correct?
Correct,
So
yeah.
like, I mean, if a student comes in and then I believe personally it's the school policy that we would file on the student's behalf, correct? If we needed to, where we would reach out.
Whatever the child
Yeah.
reports to us, we would handle it in the appropriate
In the appropriate
protocol.
manner.
It depends on what exactly they're telling us.
Yeah.
But yes, we follow the appropriate protocol regardless.
I had a quick question about when 504 or an IEP support, are we talking in this district, school psychology would be the one that you would refer them to for supports if it's put into their IEP?
Yes.
Okay. Because we don't have any adjustment counselors in this district. Okay. So I just want to be clear that school counseling would not be the one that would be necessary, 504 perhaps, but probably not IEP. That would be the school
Typically not.
psychologist. Okay.
Thank you for all the work on this.
Thank you.
Appreciate
So,
it.
If you've ever had any questions, please feel free to reach out anytime, and then otherwise, this will be reviewed again in 2028.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Committee updates. Do we have any, I guess is the next question. I think we did a lot of wrap up with the big committee work at our last meeting, and then,
So the only update for the Brookline Facilities Committee is that we're looking for a date. The first Wednesday of June doesn't work. Things get really hectic and vacations, et cetera. So I believe that Lance was gonna reach out to the committee and try to figure out what
Yep.
works best.
what I don't see on here are next month's meeting. Did I miss where we put that on the agenda?
We did say that in the,
And I don't see it.
correct. Oh, right here. Next
Is it
meeting
the
date.
very, very end?
Next meeting date's
Okay.
June 10th and August 26th.
Okay, we need to actually talk about that. So,
Can
well,
I-
wait till we
can I
get to
just
that
ask a
point.
facility,
Just-
is it the facility committee that's gonna be looking at how much it would, for the sprinkler system? I know that we had talked about, like, we're not committed to it, but we're just gonna explore it.
Also, exciting news, in our June 10th meeting, our facilities director will be presenting the capital improvement plan to you guys.
Okay.
So that would be part of it.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying, if not, can I request that it go on the agenda to be discussed, to just like how we would figure
That's
out? like-
more like a capital improvement,
Capital improvement,
just
okay.
looking at
So
the
I
overall
should
capital
bring
improvement
this
plan
up
for the
next.
district. We're gonna see that on June 10th. The facilities committee is really, honestly making some decisions. Where do we go from here? Because I think we're at a crossroads. We have to make a decision with the town.
Okay, I don't have that on my outline. It's okay.
What?
Our meeting dates, but that's okay.
It's not on the outline, it's on the agenda.
I know, because I go by the outline. That's okay. All right. Anything else question-wise for facilities or whatnot? We're gonna get into all of the policy committee stuff next. All right. So, I'm gonna do this right this time. We're gonna make a motion to approve the recommendations of the Brookline Policy Committee as per the memorandum provided as part of the agenda packet. May I get a second on that?
No second.
Excellent. Dot.
Johanna and Lynn, jump in if you notice anything. The first is GBEBB, Employee Student Relations. This is here for our fourth read with no changes and recommend adoption.
Are there any
This went
questions?
back and forth a lot. There was, a lot of discussion on, the
De minimis.
staff, the de minimis value for gifts.
We can close public input, sorry.
Keep going. I'll close in a second.
There was a lot of discussion on like the de minimis value on, gifts from students, teachers, and vice versa. And so we decided to leave it a little broad so it would not, become dated quickly with inflation, and instead of putting an actual dollar amount, we just put the minimis.
With the understanding that anybody who feels uncomfortable should feel free at any time to reach out to the administration in the school for clarification. Because that was kind of our caveat, right? Is that we'll leave it a little open-ended with the understanding that you don't have to figure it out on your own. Your principals are happy to assist you with that.
And to send the message that class gifts
Yes, are different. That
probably
was
the best way to go, and then that way you're not putting pressure on
Yes.
individual students.
Okay. Before you move to the next, though, I would like to close public input at 6:55.
All right, and while she's doing that, I will say, if you have any final thoughts on this policy, please say them now. Because we are happy to always review it. But as Lynn said, we have been working on this policy for a couple months now, and we've really tried to give a lot of opportunity for people to provide feedback, so we want to hear it, but please let us know tonight so that we can figure that
And
feedback out.
The good news is this hasn't been reviewed since 2013. So it was good to put some extra time into it and make sure that we were happy with it. Next, we have JICK, which we're going to table for this evening. We have a correspondence from the attorney, and we just want to make sure there's no changes that we haven't already discussed. We'll bring that forward in June. Next is EHB-R, which you actually approved at our last meeting, but we have one piece that has been added that wasn't in there, and it is in relation to Google accounts and how long they stay in the records. And so that has been added, it's up to date. And so for that reason, we just recommend first read with that one minor change and
Yes.
adopt.
It's very much, pretty much entirely the same, except it's like the very last page, I think, right, Lynn, that it was on? Yeah.
58 in the
Yeah.
packet.
So again, we're always happy to hear your feedback, but I promise you, nothing has changed. We all looked at it. Lots of numbers.
For the members, you'll be happy to know that we were actually, with some things that had happened previously in the district, we took a look at all of our policies, our emergency policies, and so that's why you're seeing several of them here this evening. And they came up on the spring review list from the National School Board Association, so we're already ahead of the curve.
Yes, and the policy update does not sound like it's going to be quite as long as we had feared, so
Yeah.
that is also good
But
news.
you guys are really good with your policies, so. EBCC, emergency planning. This is one that has not been updated, even though it's very short, since 2013. It is one of the ones that is on the list to be reviewed. And it basically just says that we will follow our emergency plans that are on file with the superintendent, and that these are not public documents, and the superintendent can decide who has access or not to seeing those procedures.
Oh, and I believe we did push, we did ask for the safety
We
committee to
added-
review.
Actually,
but-
this last line is the new item. The superintendent can deny access to the emergency planning and safety procedures.
Yes, but we also, Lynn had some good points about like what types of, so we had asked for the,
Well, I think that was a different.
Oh, was that a
one.
different
It's
one?
a
But this-
different policy.
This
Oh,
one,
okay.
didn't we talk about the changing the lockdown, because you said that's not really,
you had the changing the name, Dan, I thought you were saying.
right?
So yeah, the safety committee's gonna talk about all the response actions that we have to see if we wanna shorten the list, but currently a lockdown is called avoid, deny, defend.
Right.
So are we updating that in the policy?
It's not in the policy, it's just,
It is, it says, in the event
Yeah.
of an emergency
Yeah.
such as a
So-
lockdown.
oh.
If we do keep it, it's okay,
Just
because I
enough,
thought about
yeah.
it more,
Okay.
because on our response actions, it says avoid, deny, defend, and then parentheses, it says lockdown, so
Yeah, okay.
it's still,
Okay.
still, I mean, people understand.
In the
Yeah.
general umbrella, it's a
under the
lockdown. The
umbrella,
language of
right.
what we,
Sounds
how
good to
we
me.
refer to it may change,
Yeah.
and so
Okay.
it's probably better to keep it with the broad term.
I'm good with that. Just that we-
We had a conversation, long conversation about it with the principal, so just want to make sure. And just as an update for whatever policy it was, it's probably what, EBCC, right? Is that the one that I'm trying to talk about?
Yes. that's what-
Where we did ask the security committee to review a few things, so they're gonna review those and bring them back, and when they bring them back, we were happy to kind of update everyone, but they're just gonna, more about like how to coordinate if there's a emergency that needs coordination between the two schools, or like a physical blockage, right, am I forgetting?
Or like you said, if
That's the
something
next
happened
one, I think.
in-
Or two.
if something happened where it would affect.
Yes, okay, so either way,
Right.
those are, whatever policy those apply to, they will be getting looked at by the safety committee soon, so thank you to Dan for taking those for us.
We have two policies, ECA, Building and Grounds and Security, with no changes. This has not been reviewed since 2005, but there was nothing that we needed to add or take away, so we're just asking for one vote and re-adopt. Along with JICJ, which is the cell phone bell-to-bell ban. There were, as we heard, it's working well, and we're not recommending any updates at this time. You did just see it in the fall, but we need to get it into an annual cycle, so you'll see it every May, so that we can get it into student handbooks for the following year.
And it was written into the law that we
It
can
was written into.
re-adopt every year.
That we have to do it every year.
I liked, or EBCA.
EBCA, Crisis Prevention and Responses, and we have to
Oh,
do it
there it
by
is,
law
okay.
anyways,
Yeah.
but we just figured that in the case of an emergency, if anybody asked, this is a good recommended policy that we think we should say that we have and that we review on a regular basis.
It's the only one that says policy in front of it, so I was looking for the number, it was offline, it was off the line.
IMG, Animals in the Classroom, is a first read. And again, we did not, we made one change on the last paragraph. Because our school grounds are used so frequently after school, we added in during school hours and during school sanctioned events. And so we'd be looking to move that to a second read.
And part of this too, right, wasn't the intention like during pickup and drop off,
Yeah.
just to make it clear that, you know, that's
You shouldn't
still-
have dogs running around.
Right,
during-
yeah, like picking up and letting your dog out on the parking lot and whatnot. It's fine during
Yeah, I mean,
baseball in
we
the
talked about
afternoon.
like, it's okay if the dogs are in the car and they're in the car, but we shouldn't have
Please
dogs
leave.
being walked through.
Please leave them in the car
grounds.
while they wait for their humans to come back from school. Yes.
And then lastly, we had BEDB, which you did approve
So we're
because we
counting
wanted
those
the
two.
consent agenda language. We did add something into this, but I do not see it underlined.
So I'm actually going to ask Allison to speak on this a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because, I think.
What kind of wants you? So,
Yeah.
learning this role, we want it a year now. I spent a lot of time going through all of our policies, and we had some conflicting policies about who, like, did what. And like we've archived a couple of that. I don't know what the right word is, but we got rid of a couple just to kind of streamline. So this one, I in trying to make sure things don't get missed on agendas, because it was a little, honestly, there was a little bit of struggle for me at the beginning, and board chairs flip over, and I understand that. So having kind of a more streamlined process to make sure that we're involved too, because, you know, if there's somebody who's new to the role, maybe kind of like not sure, whatever, and I get that, and so I was kind of looking for ways to make sure that nothing got missed. So like one of those things you've seen on the agenda, like I did the member interest section to try to make sure we always have things on the agenda. I wanted to raise this one because this one, there's some verbiage in it that I don't quite understand. Like in the second paragraph, there's that line that says every board member has the right to place items on the agenda, which I don't disagree with. But then further down, it says they have the right to suggest items. So it's also contradictory. And so I'm struggling with this one because I feel like it's not clear. The other thing that I was wanting to be able to help more in terms of agenda prep, I thought it would be great if we could maybe talk about, you know, if board members want to place something on the agenda, maybe they funnel it through the chair, because I'd like a tracking system of like, hey, you suggested this, but legally we can't talk about it, or whatever. Like, I am worried that sometimes things got missed and we never were able to be clear, or we were not always as communicative as maybe we should have been in terms of why something wasn't placed or why something got bumped. And so I had this grandiose idea, like if, you know, people on the academic side kind of funnel it through you, or the legal side, and then we could funnel up here, and then we could kind of meet in the middle. And I'd be willing to even, you know, put together how I would track it so I could pass it from chair to chair in the future. Just, I wanted, this wasn't clear to me, like it's contradictory, and I wanted to also be, I'm involved in setting the agenda. I'm not saying that I'm not, but it took us some time to kind of get there, I feel like. And I wanted to put something in place to try to, when we flip over at some point, that we don't kind of have so much of a learning curve, and that it maybe helps. I don't know. I was just
I would
trying to be
recommend
more and
this
more
to a
collaborative.
second read, because this came after our lengthy discussion, and there's some stuff that's missing. There was a sentence that we put in that basically
Yep.
said that you do it in conjunction with
Mm-hmm.
each other. And it's not.
Because I do think the superintendent should be responsible for putting the agenda together, because you get all the legal things, you know all of the things, and as somebody who's new, if there was a new chair, oh my God, having to put an agenda together, I wouldn't even know where to start. But being able to support from this side and say, okay, Lynn's got something she wants to put on here, hey Allison, can we put this? Then when we do collaborate, I can raise them, and then I can communicate back and kind of be that, try to help funnel some of it a little bit, but then also try to communicate back.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea for having board members make suggestions to the chair, and then you can communicate with me. I do think it's important, having worked with many board chairs in the past, that I have the legal understanding of what we can and cannot put on an agenda.
Agreed.
So I would want to make sure that there was some, you know, some language that allowed that conversation where things don't automatically find themselves on an
Correct.
agenda, just to make sure I, as superintendent, keep the district safe. You know,
Agreed.
from concerns. But-
100%. But this is why I asked this one, because I've been kind of throwing policies at the policy committee over the last year of like, this and this, can you look at them and make them marry and make them work? And then this was kind of, I think, the last one maybe I've gotten to where I'm like, it just doesn't sit right. But then also wanting to kind of establish a little bit more of a procedure. I'm a very procedural. So having a little bit more of a procedure in making that work, but then also, making sure we have that relationship established so that in the future chairs, it's kind of like, here's how you do it. Here's the chairs folder on Google and go forth and conquer, because I'm slowly building that
Yeah.
to be able to pass along. So,
So I say we adopt it, and then all those, think about it, and then provide feedback to the policy committee members so that they can incorporate that.
So yeah, I mean, so I would definitely say let's push to a second read. I don't know that I would want to adopt tonight, but maybe
Yeah, just
maybe
as
like
first read.
It's just
yeah,
first read.
I would
It's just a
okay. So I'd say first push it to second. I would actually say like if we could have reads today and June, and then adopt in August if that works, just because that gives everyone kind of a little bit of time to like read it, have the thought, like hear a little bit from where you're coming. Anyway,
and I'd like to hear like what other people on the board feel about kind of getting maybe a better procedure put in place in terms of getting things onto the agenda. I don't know if you guys feel the same way that I do when you read this. It's confusing because in one breath it says,
conflicting, yeah.
in one breath it says you can put it on, and in another breath it says, oh, you can just suggest. And so, which is it? And I, I've tried, and I haven't always been perfect at it, but I've tried very hard to make sure that we have space, and Gina and I have talked a lot, like hence the new sections or trying to, and so I'm still trying to make improvements, and so that's why I asked for this one. But I would be interested in feedback too from my fellow board members of like, how would you like to see it happen? What are your thoughts kind of on, so just so you know kind of where I'm coming from in terms of trying to help clean some of this stuff up, so.
Yeah, so send that to the policy committee, and they can do the wordsmithing of it.
And then, so are we doing a second and adopt in June?
no, I'm going to say that, so it is already technically adopted, I believe, because this is the consent agenda. So what I'm going to say is that this part of it, like we're putting, I would like to keep it in review until the August meeting where we'll kind of take like a final and then take it off the agenda in the policy committee, if that makes sense, because it has already been approved. So I don't want to, for the consent agenda piece, but I really want to give everybody, including Heather, I know who's not here right now, a chance to, really look at it, come up with their thoughts, come up with their questions, and then, so I'd rather have us like
We'll do a second read in
And then a third.
June,
But if it's
and
already
then
a
third.
and adopt.
Well, it's adopted now, but it can sit back in policy.
Right.
Right, but
Yeah.
but then is it just, are we still
So
reading
the one
it,
that's
or-
adopted, not
Oh,
any of
okay.
the changes, is
Right, okay.
that's
Is
in
what's in
place.
place.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
So
fair,
that's
yes.
just to
yes.
keep the flow moving, it would
Yeah.
go to a
Excellent.
second read and then recommend to go to third and adopt.
So
Yeah.
let's vote on the
All right.
Yeah.
memo.
Okay, so, all in favor of accepting the memo from the policy committee and everything we reviewed tonight? All in favor? Excellent, thank you.
All right, at this time, I am going to dismiss Mr. Miller.
Excellent. Have a lovely evening. Thank you for everything you do. All right, we need to take action, we need to see what action we will take regarding the retained fund balance. I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the expenditure of an amount up to $280,000 from the combined FY26 fund balance and FY25 retained fund balance for the items outlined in the public hearing. Get a second. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Are you guys good if I just read these, or does anybody? Okay.
You're doing great.
Fabulous.
Go forth and.
I will make a motion to approve the recommendations of the business manager to increase the price of breakfast from $1.75 to $2 beginning at the start of the 2026-2027 school year. Can I get a second? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
I will make a motion to authorize the superintendent to hire, accept resignations, and terminate staff until the August board meeting and require notification to the board of such actions. Can I get a second? All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go into non-public, can we talk about the next 2 dates?
Yeah.
Okay, so, we moved the June date to the end of the month. As you guys know, then our next board meeting is June 10th because we had several conflicts. Tracy's not able to join us, unfortunately. And originally I was able to attend and I've been called to Cincinnati. We need a quorum in person of 3. Heather has confirmed that she can be here on the 10th.
I can be
So we just need to check with Lynn and
I can be here on
Johanna
the
to make sure you guys can be here on the
Have it
10th.
calendar.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
Johanna, not Johanna, as Secretary Lynn, congratulations, you're
You're
gonna
in
run your first board meeting.
charge,
So.
Dreams
I'll help your dreams, yeah. I mean, I stumble through all the time, so like,
I mean, I don't
You'll
think
be amazing.
Gina's not just gonna sit there and laugh at you.
No.
Hopefully she-
No, she'll be there.
She might, I don't know.
You
It's
got
like-
it.
never want to do this
Yeah, right.
If you guys need me to, I'm away for work, but I can call in. I'm not like unavailable. I'm just not physically available. So, all right. With that, I will make a motion that the board by roll call go into non-public session pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, and RSA 91-A:3 to C, to discuss a matter which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of persons other than a member of the body or the agency itself. May I get a second?
Yeah, I'll
All right,
second.
and by roll call, please.
Tracy, I.
Lynn, I.
Johanna, I.
Allison, aye. It is 7:13. All
Ashley,
right.
thank